So, hi everyone. Now, in today economic talk, I will bring you guys with one topic under the economic subject, which is the economic system. What is economic system? So, economic system is basically how the government or how the country itself running their economics, how they are managed, how they monitor, as well as how they implement their economic decisions. Yeah. So there are four type, but previously they only have three. But on this subject matters of discussions, we are looking into four. So the first one is the capital economic system. The second one is the social economic system, and the third one where we combine between capitals and social, where we call that the system mixed economic system. And the fourth one is Islamic principle of running the economy or the Islamic economic system. Now, we move to the discussions of each of these economic systems. Now we are looking into the fourth type of economic system. So the first one is the economic capitalist or capitalist economic system, where the country is run by the private sector and there are no government intervention in making economic decisions, where the pricing, the resources is owned by the private sector. And the mind and the solely objective is to maximize profit. How about the consumer? The consumer try at best to maximize their satisfaction. And what are the advantages of adopting this so-called capitalist system? For sure, in terms of the freedom of making choices, setting on pricing is there. And for sure, right to own wealth without paying taxes to the government. And in terms of labor, labor can easily mobile, can move from one place to another place. And in terms of competitions, higher competitions which lead to better goods and services. However, in terms of the disadvantages, the income disparity among the low income and higher income become wider. There are no intervention from the governments. The resources will be is not properly managed, and the human welfare is ignored, and social costs. And for instance, negative externality, an example of pollutions, will be not the main agenda for the government and will be ignored also. And which country that most probably follow this system? So according to the statistic, it shows that Singapore, with 84.1% freedom in making decision in the economy. How about Malaysia? Now, the second economic system is socialist, which contradict with the first economic system just now, where this government make all the economic decisions, including the resources ownerships, including the pricing and so on and so forth. And society and the firm have no right to make decisions. And one of their main focus is to make sure that the distributions of income will be fair and equal. So now, when we look into the advantages of this system, this for sure will motivate equal distribution of income, low unemployment, because that will be the mission visions of the government, and government will provide public goods and services, and for sure the gap between poor and rich will be minimized in terms of the inequality, right? And this is basically based on the welfare economic system. Yeah. Now, but this also bring disadvantages. For instance, the freedom of making choices will be lesser or none. There are no incentive to work hard because they are being paid at the same amount of income, for instance. And also in terms of competition is very low because there are less of investment, foreign direct investment, and the technology most probably will be lower. So what country that most probably using socialist economic system? Based on the statistic, it show that China is number one. So maybe you want to discuss on this one, right? Okay, so the third one is the mixed economic system, where the first and the second just now is combined, where resources are owned by both the government and the private sector. And in terms of economic decisions, decisions is made by both also, which means the government provide public goods and the private sector will produce the private good. So individuals and firms are free to own wealth. However, they need to pay tax to the government. And we look into the advantages of adopting the mixed economic system. Now, the advantages is for sure in terms of choices because the government and the private sector are also producing goods and services. So there are variety of goods and services. And the public goods are at the lower prices because it's controlled by the government also. And the economic activity are more stabilized and organized because they are control measured by the government. And the narrow gaps between rich and poor will be much lower. And that will be the Now, the fourth one is the Islamic economic system, where this is based on the Islamic principles, which is principle of the Sharia, where focusing on social justice, fair distributions of wealth, and ethical conduct. It's quite similar with the previous economic system. However, these prohibit interest, speculative activities, and the investment that providence in the industry as well as promoting profit and loss sharing. Now, what are the advantages of conducting Islamic economic system, for instance, like Brunei? So, for sure, number one is this system able to reduce the inequality through wealth distributions, promote financial stability, encourage market participations, as well as more transparent economy system. So this is basically adopted by quite numbers of Islamic or Islam country, for instance, like Brunei and few others countries. So you try to figure out what are the other countries.